This video is on solving expressions using substitution. So we're just going to substitute given values, given numbers, into the expressions below for each variable. So in this first one, the expression is 3x plus 4 minus 2x if x equals 3. So we're going to take what x equals and substitute or plug it into the expressions for x. Whenever you have a number and a variable right next to each other without anything in between, it means that they're being multiplied together. So this will be 3 times whatever the x value is, in this case 3, and 2 times the x value, which is 3. I'm just going to write it below. We have 3 times x, which is 3. Bring down the plus 4, minus 2 times x, which is 3. Now I'm going to use order of operations to simplify. 3 times 3 is 9, plus 4, minus 2 times 3 is 6. Then I'm going to work left to right. 9 plus 4 is 13, minus 6. And 13 minus 6 leaves me with 7. Okay. Here is another one. It's just slightly more complicated because there's a lot of negatives in there. Okay, so we have 2 times the x value. Again, I'm going to plug in what x equals in both of these places for x, and I'm going to plug in what y equals for y. So I have 2 times my x value, which is 2. Bring down the minus 4. Remember, it's multiplied now by the y value, which is 3, plus 1, minus my x value, which is 2. Okay, then I'm going to simplify. 2 times 2 is 4, minus 4 times 3 is 12, plus 1, minus 2. Then I'm just going to work left to right. 4 minus 12 is negative 8, plus 1 minus 2. Negative 8 plus 1 is negative 7. Bring down the minus 2. And negative 7 minus 2 leaves me with negative 9. All right, a couple more. Okay, this next one, I'm substituting in negative values. And we do have a lot of negatives, so just take it step by step, pay attention to those negatives and what's happening. So we're going to bring down the negative 2. We have minus negative 3. Remember, this means negative 3 times y. So I'm just going to put the multiplication sign, and y is negative 1. Close the parentheses. Bring down the plus 2. I can put the dot, or because the parentheses mean multiplication, I'm just going to put parentheses. Y is negative 1. Bring down the minus, and x is negative 4. Equals. Don't forget that minus, and then my x is negative, so it is minus a negative. So pay attention to that. Now I need to simplify. Bring down negative 2, minus, inside the parenthesis, I have negative 3 times negative 1, which gives me positive 3, plus 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. Okay, there's 2 ways I can look at this. I can either say a negative times a negative is a positive, so it just gives me plus 4. Or if you use subtraction rules, remember it's change subtraction to addition, change the sign of the second integer. And so it's also plus 4. Anytime you have 2 negatives together, you can just multiply them together and say a negative times a negative is a positive. Both of those rules work and will result in the same answer. Okay, now we're needing to add and subtract. So we're again paying attention to those negatives and minuses. Negative 2 minus 3 is negative 5, plus negative 2 plus 4. Negative 5 plus negative 2 is negative 7 plus 4. And negative 7 plus 4 leaves me with negative 3. All right, this one's a little tricky because I do have a whole lot of negatives. So I'm going to take it slowly. All right, I have a negative on the outside times negative x. Well, x is negative 4. Okay, so I do have that negative that was there, and when I plugged in x, it was negative 4. So I don't get confused. I'm just going to say a negative times a negative is a positive. So that changes to plus. Minus, my y value is negative 5. Again, I can say, since they're right next to each other, there's not a number in between. I can say a negative times a negative is a positive. So it becomes plus 5. Minus my x value, which is negative 4. Again, I'm just going to do it as I go along. A negative times a negative is a positive. Plus negative y. Y is negative 5. Negative times a negative is a positive. Okay, I'm going to rewrite this because it's kind of confusing with all of these positive and plus signs. So I do have a negative. This resulted in a positive 4. Plus 5 plus 4 plus 5. If you wanted to leave all the negatives and change the negatives to positives at the end, that's okay if you had done it on this step. All right, so now I'm just going to add and subtract. So negative 4 plus 5 is 1, plus 4 plus 5. 1 plus 4 is 5, and 5 plus 5 is 10. Okay. I just want to double check that I included everything, and I did. All right, one more. Okay, we have negative 2 times x is 3 times y, which is negative 2. Okay, again, when you have a number and a variable next to each other, it means multiplication. Also, if you have two variables next to each other, those two variables are being multiplied together. Bring down the plus. 3 times x is 3 minus negative 4 times the y value, which is negative 2. So I have negative 2 times 3 is negative 6. Negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12. And if you want to do the math to the side, I'll just show it to you really quick. First I did the negative 2 times 3, gave me negative 6. And then I said negative 6 times negative 2 is positive 12. Okay, bring down the plus. 3 times 3 is 9, minus negative 4 times negative 2 is positive 8. Okay, 12 plus 9 gives me 21, minus 8 leaves me with 13. Okay, then I have 4 problems for you to try. Go ahead and pause the video here. The instructions just say substitute the given values into the expressions below for each variable. Okay, there's all 4, so you can pause when you're ready for the answers. Go ahead and play it, come on back, and I'll go through the answers with you. All right, so for the first one, we have 2 times the x value, which is negative 1, minus 3 times my y value, which is 4. Bring down the plus 2. Now I'm going to multiply. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2, minus 3 times 4 is 12, plus 2. Simplify left to right. Negative 2 minus 12 is negative 14, plus 2 leaves me with negative 12. Okay. All right, next one. We have negative 3 times the x value, which is 2, minus 5 times the x value, which is 2, times the y value, which is 3. Again, all three of these are multiplied together because there aren't any operations in between. Plus 7 times y, which is 3. Now I'm going to simplify. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. Minus, if you want to do the work to the side, you can. We can do 5 times 2, gives us 10. And then we have 10 times 3 gives us 30. So this simplifies to 30. Bring down the plus. 7 times 3 is 21. All right, we have negative 6 minus 30, which gives us negative 36 plus 21. Negative 36 plus 21 leaves us with 15. Sorry, negative 15. Don't forget that negative. All right, number 3, we have negative y value, which is negative 5. Okay, so this is the negative that was there, and my y value is negative 5, minus the x value, which is negative 3, times the y value, which is negative 5, plus 2 times the y value, which is negative 5. All right, negative times a negative is a positive, so I could have changed them at the beginning. This is positive 5 minus negative 3 times negative 5 is positive 15, plus 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. Okay, 5 minus 15 is negative 10, plus negative 10 leaves me with negative 20. All right, and one more. All right, this one's pretty complicated. We have negative 3 times the x value, which is negative 2, minus negative times x, which is negative 2. So I'm just going to change that minus a negative to plus a positive so I don't get confused. Bring down the plus. Negative 2 times, my y value is negative 1. Bring down that minus. My y value is negative 1. And I can change this minus a negative to plus a positive. All right, we have negative 3 times negative 2 gives me positive 6. Minus my 2. Plus negative 2 times negative 1 is positive 2. Plus 1. 6 minus 2 is 4, plus 2 plus 1. 4 plus 2 is 6, plus 1, and 6 plus 1 gives me 7. Okay, hopefully you got the same answers. You can go back and double check your work if you got something different.